Do you know who was the first president of the United States? Who served as the commander-in-chief of the Continental Army during the American Revolutionary War? Who is considered one of the founding fathers of the United States? He is George Washington, the first president of the United States. He served as the commander-in-chief of the Continental Army during the American Revolutionary War and is recognized as a principal founding father of the United States. George Washington was born in 1732 into a wealthy family in colonial Virginia. He began his career as a militia officer and participated in the French and Indian War. In 1775, during the American Revolution, he was appointed as commander-in-chief of the Continental Army. Under his leadership, American forces achieved victories at Trenton, Princeton, Saratoga, and Yorktown. After the war in 1783, he voluntarily resigned his military commission. Later in 1787, he presided over the Constitutional Convention and was unanimously elected as the first president of the United States. As president, he established the central bank, tax system, and a permanent seat of government. After serving 2 terms, he retired. He passed away in 1799 at Mount Vernon, Virginia, United States. In this video, we will learn in detail about George Washington. Early life. 1. Birth and education, 1732 to 1753. George Washington was born on February 22, 1732, at Pope's Creek Estate, Virginia. His father, Augustine Washington, was a tobacco planter, an iron investor, and his mother was Mary Ball Washington. His family belonged to the English gentry. George had 6 siblings, several of whom died in childhood. After his father's death, he was just 11 years old. From a young age, he was hardworking and responsible. 2. Land surveying. Washington developed an early interest in land surveying. In 1748, he joined a survey party led by George Fairfax, gaining practical experience. At 17, he began professional work as a surveyor and received a license from the College of William and Mary. By 1750, he had completed nearly 200 surveys, mapping around 60,000 acres. This work helped him acquire land and become an influential landowner in Western Virginia. Washington and the French and Indian War. Washington began his military career as a major in the Virginia militia. In 1753, he was sent as a British envoy to French and Indian officials in present-day Erie, Pennsylvania. When the French deployed troops in Ohio County, Virginia, and Pennsylvania colonies disputed the territory, triggering conflicts that later became the French and Indian War, 1754 to 1762, and ultimately contributed to the global 7 Years' War, 1756 to 1763. 1. Start of the war. In 1753, Washington was tasked by the British government to deliver a letter to the French demanding they leave the Ohio Valley. He met with Iroquois chiefs like Tanacharison and other local leaders. The French commander refused the letter. On May 28, 1754, Washington led a surprise attack on the French with militia and Mingo allies at what became known as the Battle of Jumonville Glen. The skirmish lasted about 15 minutes, and Jumonville was killed. Tanacharison called Washington a town destroyer. In retaliation, the French attacked Fort Necessity in July 1754 and captured Washington, later releasing him to return to his troops. This event highlighted his courage, planning, and audacity. Both France and Britain prepared for war, which was formally declared in 1756. 2. Braddock Expedition. In 1755, Washington joined British General Edward Braddock's campaign to drive the French from Ohio County and capture Fort Duquesne. Though ill, Washington volunteered and advised splitting the troops so lightly armed men moved ahead and heavily armed men stayed behind. At the Battle of Monongahela, Braddock was mortally wounded, and British forces were scattered. Washington reorganized the troops and led them safely, earning praise for his bravery, even as 2 of his horses were shot and his coat and hat pierced by bullets. 3. Commander of the Virginia Regiment. In 1755, Lieutenant Governor Dinwiddie commissioned Washington as colonel and commander of the Virginia Regiment, the first full-time American military unit in the colonies. He rigorously trained the troops and led frontier campaigns against Indian forces, fighting 20 engagements in 10 months, losing a third of his men. In 1758, he participated in Forbes' expedition to capture Fort Duquesne, A misfired friendly demonstration killed 14 soldiers and injured 26. The British captured the fort, securing control of the Ohio Valley. Washington retired from his commission in December 1758, returning to military service only in 1775. Interim years: Mount Vernon, 1759 to 1774. In 1759, Washington married wealthy widow Martha Dandridge Custis, increasing his social status and wealth. They raised Martha's children from her previous marriage, though they had no children together. Through this marriage, he acquired a large portion of the Custis estate and expanded Mount Vernon to 6,500 acres. During this period, Washington remained politically and militarily active, acquiring land for participation in the French and Indian War and representing Frederick County in the House of Burgesses from 1758. He became a vocal critic of British taxation and trade policies. American Revolution, 1775 to 1783. Washington opposed the Stamp Act, 1765, and Townshend Act, 1767, defending the colonies against British aggression. He proposed boycotting British goods in Virginia and successfully influenced the repeal of the Townshend Act in 1770. In 1774, he opposed the Intolerable Acts and presided over the adoption of the Fairfax Resolves, which paved the way for the Continental Congress. In August 1774, he joined the First Virginia Convention and was elected as a representative to the Continental Congress I. Commander-in-Chief, after the battles of Lexington and Concord in April 1775, the colonies entered war. Washington was appointed Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army due to his experience and skills. He refused a salary, earning a reputation as a noble and generous commander. The British labeled him a traitor and threatened property seizure and execution. Washington performed three key roles: leading troops in battles, devising overall military strategy, and organizing and training the army. He recruited experienced trainers like Baron von Steuben and pressured Congress to provide arms and supplies. George Washington's titles. His principal title was President of the United States. Other honorary titles included Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army during the American Revolution, appointed by Congress to lead American forces against the British George Washington's death. George Washington died on December 14, 1799, at Mount Vernon, Virginia, due to a throat and respiratory infection. His death caused nationwide mourning, and his legacy continues to inspire social and political recognition.